Hey everybody, it's Kariss. About a week or so ago, I posted on Facebook that I would do a video on tips of traveling alone, tips for traveling alone, and why I think it's good to travel alone. I've not been traveling internationally for a long time. I just had my first trip back in August and September of 2011, and I got a chance to go to England and I got a chance to go to France for one day. That France was one day, but England I was there for about maybe 9 days or so. It was an incredible trip of a lifetime, something that really challenged me. And before that, I had already done quite a bit of traveling alone, just with church conventions or participating in weddings, whatever the case may be. I had traveled alone extensively throughout the United States. And there are some things that I've picked up along the way, and I want to share them with you just to encourage you, let you know, okay, maybe if you're not wanting to travel or have a desire to travel globally, maybe you don't want to go overseas, maybe you're comfortable wherever you are, whether you're in Europe or whether you're in the US or whether you're in Africa or wherever you may be. Maybe you're comfortable right now on your continent or in your country, but I want to encourage you. I would strongly suggest, if it's not reasonable for you to make travel arrangements abroad, then definitely explore within. Explore your city. Do you know your city in and out? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Well, okay, check the next city across town. Do you know your state in and out? I think there's so many things that are incredible about what is close to home or your province, whatever it may be. I definitely encourage you to explore and travel close to home first. That's something that I did while I was working downtown in Omaha. I loved just walking around, just exploring, going to new places, checking out different museums that I hadn't seen, or going to different restaurants, whatever it may be, or exploring different parks. That's something that I love to do while I was back home in Nebraska, and I definitely encourage that. Maybe your budget isn't as flexible to travel abroad. So I definitely encourage you, don't use that as an excuse. Definitely go and see something that you've never seen that might be just next door or might be down the street. Go and challenge yourself, see the world. Start at home first. Okay, but when it comes to traveling solo, this is something that I encourage. This is number one for me. Safety. Safety is definitely number one. That's something that I picked up and appreciate from my previous employer back in Omaha. They always emphasize the importance of safety, and that's something that I've carried on. Now, safety is not just, okay, lock your doors, all that kind of thing. No, safety goes beyond that. This is a suggestion that I have as a single woman, that whenever I stay at a hotel, I like to suggest that they provide me a room close to the elevator. Now, you would ask why. I think that's probably obvious, so that you have an easy way to get on and get off. When you have a long hallway and your room is all the way at the end of the hall, you don't always know what's waiting for you at the end of the hall. Now, mind you, you don't know what's waiting for you in your room, but I think it just is it's quick access in, quick access out, and I think it's wise to do it like that, especially when traveling alone. Another thing that I suggest when traveling alone, before you can get to the hotel and you're arranging your flight details, definitely consider or think about arriving in the daytime. Again, this is another safety measure that I like to use. Now, sometimes I use it, sometimes I don't. Depends on what the flight price is, so you have to be reasonable on all ends. But the best idea, I think, is to arrive in the daytime. And if you're able to arrive in the daytime, this will not only provide you a full day to explore, but when you arrive in the daytime, oftentimes you're more alert and you're more aware of your surroundings. However, if you arrive in the nighttime, you don't know who's watching you. I mean, you don't know in the daytime either. But I think they're more, what's the saying? The freaks come out at night. Sometimes that happens. So you just never know who's looking at you, who's watching you at nighttime. But in the daytime, it's usually more crowded, and there's usually a higher sense of awareness and safety during the daytime. That's just my point of view. That's something I share. Something to think about. Arrive in the daytime. Doesn't necessarily have to be early in the morning, but arrive at 3 or 4 where there's plenty of light and plenty of people to help you. The traffic is going to be a bit heavier during the daytime too. definitely good one to consider. Okay, let's look at switching gears. Oh, and then before I finish with the safety, gut check. Do a gut check. If you feel like something's not right, or you're feeling a bit uneasy when you're dealing with people, or whatever the issue is, whether you're walking down the street, whatever, do that gut check, or use the Spirit. I say it's the Holy Spirit that will inform you or let you know that something's off or something's wrong, and listen to that, be obedient to that, and move, transition, do whatever you have to do to obtain the level of safety and awareness that you had before. Okay, let's go to switch gears. Hostels. Hostels is somewhat aligned with safety, and just another plus with traveling as a solo traveler. I love hostels, and I've just really started using them since I came to China. And I encourage you to check out what hostels are. Hostels are cheap, usually very cheap lodging, but safe and comfortable accommodations. They have cheap food, but it's often really good. Sometimes they have little lounges too. Let's see what else. Oh, and the tours. That's a plus when traveling alone. And you have tours that you can take with these hostels. Now, not all hostels are the same. So some hostels do offer certain tours, and some hostels might not provide that option. But for many of the hostels, they will. So you won't really feel like you're traveling alone, because you'll be amongst other travelers or other students or whatever the case may be. You'll be able to be surrounded. You won't really feel isolated or feel solo. So I definitely encourage you, look up hostels. Check out, see if there are hostels in your town. If you live in a big city, more than likely they have hostels in your area. So definitely check on hostels. Discounts beforehand. Check out different sites like thelonelyplanet.com, or just Google free stuff to do in blank, and you'll find information on that particular city. If you're traveling alone, more than likely you won't mind saving a few bucks, a little bit of money while you're traveling, so you can buy more money or buy more things for souvenirs to give to family and friends when you go back home. Let's see. Oh, TMI. I wrote down TMI. Too much information. Now, growing up, my sisters would definitely tell you I gave too much information. Talk, and they would say, well, why don't you just give out your Social Security number too? Because I love conversation, I love communication, I love learning about people's stories and their experiences, and I don't mind sharing mine. But this is something that I encourage you to do while traveling solo. It's just be aware, be cognizant that everyone is really as stellar as you are, and you want to be sure that you don't share too much information. Be careful what you say, even when you're checking in the hotel. This is another safety thing, kind of going back to safety. When you check into your hotel, request that the front desk person serving you does not state or say what your room is, what your room number is. Now, most hotels have trained their employees to make sure that they write down the room number and just put it in the key, or when they give you the key, you're able to see that. But some don't. Some just state it out loud, like I experienced one time, and then I ended up getting a call from the person who heard, but I didn't answer. I'm most certain that was the person that heard. But anyway, neither here nor there. Don't give out too much information. You don't have to tell everybody, yes, I'm here traveling alone all by myself. I'm having such a great time. Oh, no one came with you? Oh no, it's just me. Don't do that. Keep it in. Keep it together. You can say, I'm here doing business. I'm here on business. If they ask you what business, none of your business. That's what business is. No, but really, you just be aware. You don't have to give out too much information. Be wise. Be wise. Say, I'm enjoying the city. What are you doing here? Enjoying the city. And always feel free to say, well, what are you doing? Have questions ready, because questions will come up, conversation will come up. It's not that you need to be defensive, but you just need to be seasoned and be prepared for anything that might come your way. Modest is hottest. Now this is something I'm learning and I'm working to practice consistently in being aware of what is considered modest in different regions and different countries and places. I'm getting ready to take a trip to a place where their level of modesty is on another level from what I've been accustomed to. What I encourage you to do is I'm not just saying modest is hottest when it comes to the way that you wear your clothes, but even when it comes to the way you decorate yourself. Are you really flashy? If you're really flashy, then you're going to draw more attention to yourself than you want. And if you're traveling solo, that's not something you're going to want to do. You don't want to attract too much attention to yourself if you're not ready for it. So definitely, modest is hottest. If that means wearing, you just think about what you wear and what kind of attention you get from wearing what you wear. Now, you can't really change the opinion of others that surround you, but you can prepare yourself for the cultural environment. Research and find out what are they wearing in that particular city, that particular region. I'm speaking specifically if you're traveling abroad. You don't want to be offensive to the natives in that particular country. You definitely want to be considerate of their values, their morals, and their thoughts on what they feel is reasonable and appropriate. So check out what is going on in that city or that country before arriving there. Even check the weather, things like that. Simple things that will allow you to be prepared before you go. And this is another thing. Make sure while traveling, you're not packing your things. Don't make sure you pack everything and it's heavier than you can carry. That's something that I've done before. And what happened? A wheel broke off. And here I am just dragging it and struggling, and everybody can see me struggling. Make sure that when you're packing, if you're going for a week, you don't need to take half of your wardrobe. I'm telling you because I'm learning from experience. Just bring it in, tighten it up a little bit. What do I need? Make sure that you have, if you're traveling globally, make sure you have copies of your passport with you and have them in different locations. Maybe carry one on you, one in a bag, one in a purse, whatever it may be. Make sure you have copies. I know I just have a couple minutes left before this will cut off, but those are just a few pointers. I know I missed a lot. Let me just triple check. Just be on guard. 1 second. I know this is not professional. On arrival visas. If you're traveling globally, check for on arrival visas. What an on arrival visa, whatever it may be. You may not always need to get a visa ahead of time before traveling. Place I'm getting ready to go, I can do an on arrival visa. So check the embassy and the consulate. If you're traveling globally, I encourage you to have an awareness of where the nearest embassy, U.S. embassy, or whatever your country's embassy or consulate is. Have an awareness of where that is, so that you can go there in case of emergency, whatever the case may be. Definitely have an awareness of that. Double check, triple check, and quadruple check when you're leaving taxis, when you're leaving restaurants, when you're leaving. Just make sure you have everything, because it would be a pity if you left something behind or something was stolen. I've experienced this. I'm telling you, because I've experienced it. Double, triple, quadruple check. You will not be sorry. So those are my thoughts and tips. I know it's a long video, but I hope you got something out of it, and I hope you have a wonderful day. All right, goodbye.